If closing deals was really just about being good at talking to people, then every smooth talker would literally be rich today, and they're not. Because closing isn't just about talking, it's about understanding human behavior, transferring certainty, and guiding someone to a decision that they already want to make. I've closed hundreds of deals in real estate and also coached thousands of entrepreneurs on this very topic today, and they've went from no confidence to consistent closings every single week using the frameworks that I'm about to teach you today. So let's get into the conversation in a way that you've never been taught before. Welcome back to the podcast. Just in case this is your first time watching, listen, what I want you to do is just hit the subscribe button, like and comment. By the end of this video, you're gonna get insane clarity on how to close and the techniques that we're gonna teach you on this video. So listen, my name is Lacedrick Brantley. Just in case this is like your first time or you're not familiar with me, I am an expert in real estate wholesaling and of course the business of real estate. And I have here my co-host, Kenneth Williams. He is a business strategist. Y'all have been in this game many, many years, and definitely we want to give you some game on this thing we call the close, all right? So one thing that I have learned is people typically don't fear the answer. They fear the work that it takes to get to it. And when it comes down to doing the work, man, I like people don't want to do the work anymore nowadays because they know that there's a journey between like where they are and like where they want to be and like all of the work that you have to do, especially pertaining to sales. I know a lot of people hate to like put in the work to get there. Like, what do you see are some common mistakes that people typically make when going on a journey? Like, what are some things that you notice with new entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time with us as entrepreneurs, and I really want to set the stage here for our viewers here, because I want them to really understand, I want you to really understand that there is a framework by which you need to go into every deal and how to go into the deal without the lack of confidence. I'll say it that way. And the way to go into the deal, first, preparation. You have to prepare to go into the close. Most people like to kind of freestyle and all of these different things, and that has its place. It has its place. But you want to be prepared. And when I mean prepared, you must understand your framework, okay, in going into the sale. And that's exactly what you're saying as it relates to the journey that an entrepreneur has in order to even talk to a customer, to even get them on the phone or get them in knocking on their doors, like I did for about 5 years. Being a door knocker, I have to have 3 years, knocking on doors.
I did that for like 3 months and I quit. It was crazy.
Man, it's brutal. It is brutal. I did it for energy. I did it for Kirby vacuums. I did it for Disney toys. I mean, it was just, all over the place in the 90s, man. And but that was good groundwork. Because what it taught me is before I knocked on that door, I had to be mentally prepared. Because I knew that when I knocked on that door and they answered it, the answer was already no. So I had to figure out a way to get to the yes before they say the no. Right? And what I learned is that when I was prepared mentally, it helped me to be prepared for what the customer said.
So like when it pertains to that brings me to something here, because when it pertains to like getting on the phone and doing like phone sales, I see a lot of new entrepreneurs. They are, like you said, freestyling. They're not preparing, for the call, like mentally preparing, because like, we don't talk about this a lot, but like a lot of people don't like rejection.
That's the truth.
People do not like rejection nowadays.
That's the truth.
And like sometimes you have to mentally prepare for that. Like, so one of the things that we do is we mentally prepare. Sometimes that's by praying. Sometimes that's by taking a walk. And like we do that every hour upon hour. So like one thing that I used to do is actually take a walk after every like long call that I had. Like if it was like a exhausting call that I had, I'm like, all right, let me go take a walk. Let me take like a 5-10 minute break, mental break. So I could be prepared for the next call. And like bringing the energy to that call is very important. Like most people suck at sales, not because they're just not good. It's just because their energy sucks on the phone.
That's the truth.
Like, so when a seller picks up the phone, or somebody who they want to sell, they're coming with a low energy, like they rolled out of bed. And I think that's like a good thing that most people should prepare for, is literally like man, making sure that you sound on your first call, you were hype, you had the energy, you were ready. And like all of a sudden when you got told no, like you're like, oh man, they told me no.
Yeah.
Right. And then going into the rest of the day, all they do is they just, hey, this is, instead of, hey, this is,
Yes.
you know, and they're going in with that energy.
Yeah.
So real quick, I know we talked about this behind the scenes, but let's let the people know about this first thing. It's called setting the frame.
Yeah.
I want you to explain this. Yeah. What is the definition of setting the frame for the people who don't know what setting the frame for a conversation looks like?
Great question, man. And I think that's a good segue into understanding the actual framework of what we're talking about in the structure of a call. If you're talking about being on a call.
Yeah.
But this is in conversation. We do this in a
conversation period.
Yeah. In Walmart, you can be in, Kroger or Tom Thumb or wherever, these are types of, every single conversation you have, you set a frame. Mm-hmm. Somebody is setting a frame. Yeah. So basically what it is, the person that you're speaking with or you setting the frame, you're actually putting a picture frame. Just think of a picture frame, okay? And whatever picture you decide to put in that frame, that's the picture that these people will see, okay? And I always think about that with even now.
Yeah.
Man, I've been doing sales for over 20 plus years, man. And even now, when I jump on a phone call or I'm in a high ticket sales, situation, or I'm closing that 6-figure deal, right? I always consider that point. Setting that frame. And I literally, in my brain, now this might sound strange to everybody, don't judge me. We listen and we don't judge, okay?
Yeah.
But literally what I do is I picture a empty picture frame.
Yeah.
It's gold.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm getting ready to talk, I picture, okay, what am I about to put in that frame?
Yeah.
So how I do that, this is exactly what I do. When the customer picks up the phone, hey, this is Kenneth over here at X, Y, and Z company. How are you?
Yeah.
And they're going to say, oh, I'm doing good. Kenneth, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
First and foremost, I want to just let you know that whatever the situation is, I set whatever the situation is, whether that's real estate, whether that's, whatever the high ticket sale is, whatever the industry is, it doesn't matter what it is. I put whatever the purpose of the call is right there, right? And then I go into it and I ask him, I say, do you have a couple of minutes that we can chat about it a little bit? And most of the time, because of my tone, the tonality, the cadence of my speech, most of the time, when all of those things are flowing, I got a couple of minutes, but you got to hurry, man, because I got to get back to work. Or really, I got to go and do this and this and this, but I'll give you a couple of minutes, right?
Yep.
And then that's when we go, okay, well, the first things first, let me just say this. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things, X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
You can ask me some questions. I'll probably have some questions as well. But by the end of this call, one thing's for sure, you're going to have the clarity that you need to make a decision. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And they'll say, okay, well, all right, let's see what you got.
So
okay, and then I go right into the next thing.
That's crazy. So basically, before we ever talk to this person, we know what we do.
Yes.
So for example, if we're in real estate, right, and we're talking to somebody about selling their house, an example of a frame would be kind of like setting an expectation of how that conversation is going to go.
There you go.
So, for example, when we're in real estate, one thing that we would say is, hey, listen, what I'm going to do is ask you a couple of questions about your property and a little bit about what's going on, just to see if this is going to be something that we can qualify for an offer. And if it's not, I can point you in the right direction. So by the end of the call, you'll know either or. But yeah, let's go ahead and let me just ask you this, right? So you're setting the frame up of how this conversation is going to go. You're the leader of the call.
Yes, that's
right?
absolutely right.
So I like that because what we do right there, that starts who is the boss in the, I hate to say it that way, but who's the boss in the situation and who's going to run the show?
Yeah.
Because they say that whoever is asking the most questions, that's the person who's in control.
That's
right. So you would say that that's a good way to set the frame, right?
Absolutely. And let me show you this, because I'm going to give you a little bit of psychology behind that. The mind loves order. It doesn't like disorder.
Yeah.
It loves order.
It's kind of like a dirty room.
That's right. If you have a dirty room, I had a friend of mine tell me one time, this is organized chaos. And I'm like, okay, I get how that sounds,
Yeah.
But the truth of it is, it's chaotic.
Yeah.
But when it's in order, right? And so because the mind loves order, when you go into a call or when you're having that conversation with the person, right? The beauty of the mind needed order is that you can set and speak to the order.
Yeah.
And when you speak to the order, the mind recognizes it be, okay, this is palatable. This is easy.
Yeah.
This is understandable, right? There's no confusion or tensity or anything of that sort as it relates to the conversation. And so, always remember that the mind loves order. And if you set your framework or you set that opening, when you're setting the frame, right? And you started with order, what happens is that person is going to be more willing to have a conversation with you than to reject you. And that's been my experience over the course of the last 20 plus years that I've been doing, sales. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So guiding into setting the frame, coming after that, typically what I always like to do, like even before a call, just to make sure that I'm kind of like building this micro rapport with the seller.
Right.
Tone.
Oh, man.
Tone, we have rhythm, and then of course, like an emotional temperature for this seller. So if we understand like, all right, this seller picked up the phone and they sound like, they sound a little bit low, right? I'm not saying like have like low energy or bad energy, but I'm saying match their tone of how they are.
Absolutely.
So when we enter a conversation, we have something called like up tones and down tones, right? And you can use both of them to your advantage.
Yes.
But when we're typically talking about like making sure that somebody understands who you are, what you do, if you're even confident in what you're saying, typically people use what?
Down tones for confidence.
Yeah.
For confidence. Yeah.
So
up tones for lack of confidence.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for example, like an uptone, if you've ever picked up your phone and you had somebody say, hey, my name is Lacedrick, I'm calling about, and that's a uptone, right? Like they sound unsure.
Right.
They sound like they don't really know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And they sound like a salesperson, like somebody who has high sales resistance because it's like, man, I feel like I'm about to get sold. Let me hear a big one, like close the phone. Like, let me just close this out. Let me hang up. So when it comes down to the tone, you always want to have a down tone.
That's right.
Because it, like we're talking now, we're going down in our tone instead of up, because it makes it like you know exactly what you're talking about. You sound confident. You sound like you are the professional. And a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, I give you a prime example because I used to teach this a lot. Back in the day, I had a call center.
Yeah.
And went well, man. It was really, really good. And ended up giving that away. But what I used to teach is the down tone and the up tone. It sounds like this.
Right.
Here's the up tone. You ready? Hello? May I talk to Mrs. So-and-so? Well, who's this? This is Kenneth over here at the ABC Center. These are uptones.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like you're unsure? Like, are you sure?
No, yeah. Are you sure you're from that company?
Are you sure that's your name?
It might not be them.
Right? Versus down tone, which is, hey, is Mr. Jones there? This is Kenneth Williams calling from ABC Company. I'm not going, this is Kenneth Williams calling from ABC Company. I'm saying this is Kenneth Williams calling from ABC Company.
Yeah.
I'm going down in my tone. And so when I'm going down in my tone, what that exudes for them is, I don't know, it's just, like I said, it's a mind thing.
Yeah.
It's a psychological thing. When we're going down in my tone, it exudes confidence and people are more willing to have the conversation with you. So yeah, absolutely. And also too, when we talk about matching the tone, we're not, if you have a person, and like you said, Lacedrick, when you have a person that comes on the phone and their tone is very, very low, maybe they're just getting out of the bed, or maybe they're just really chilling, right? And they're not really on nothing right now. They just really relaxing and just chilling, right? Well, the thing about that is you match their tone with your cadence and tone, not necessarily slow and really.
Are you talking about like rhythm, essentially?
Exactly.
Okay.
So if I get on the phone and I'm saying, hey, what's going on?
Right.
You're not going to be like, hey, this is Kenneth over here.
Right. Like, hey, what's going on?
Are you radio? Midnight?
Right.
No, you don't want to do that. You want to slow your cadence, right?
Okay.
So somebody, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, this is Kenneth over here at ABC Company.
Right.
Same energy,
Yep.
lower tone, slow the cadence.
Okay.
Cadence is rhythm, the way you speak.
Yeah.
Right? So you just want to remember these little tidbits because y'all, as crazy as it sounds,
Yeah.
and as you know, I would even say as simplistic as it sounds, it matters in the call.
Yeah.
It absolutely matters. And that's one of the things that my students learned back in the day.
Yeah.
That's why we had high conversions.
Of course.
Because they understood, look, this is not only a
things you need to do off the call. Yeah. Like you remember that. Yeah. And I think that's very important because do you know, like I've learned this, out of 10 sales agents, do you know how many of them actually go back and listen to their calls and make sure? But maybe one, maybe one, maybe.
But we had to have sales meetings individually.
Yeah.
Because most people don't take the time to listen to themselves. Mm-hmm. And if you listen to yourself on the call, what happens is you'll see that, oh man, I didn't set the frame. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I went on an uptone there instead of a downtone.
Yeah.
Oh man, I should have just slowed my cadence down a little bit and they would have been able to understand me a little bit more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
As opposed to, man, I did all this X, Y, and Z and nothing worked.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So this next thing, when it comes down to like talking about the emotional temperature of this individual, like I know a lot of people, we have like different types of people that we deal with, like as far as like their temperature. So you got, of course, like emotional individuals. You got people who are just like, I mean, for lack of better words, we would just say like the people who are mean, right? So you got an aggressive seller, you got somebody who is analytical, and then you got like all of these different types of people. It's like typically like 4 of them, right? Yeah. When it comes down to each of these individuals, let's actually start with the analytical individual, right? Yeah. This is somebody who would want to know more information than like the usual individual, like somebody who's just like pretty much smooth going. Like they're like, oh, just go ahead, just tell me, you know, they're agreeing with everything you're saying. How do you typically handle a analytical individual?
Yeah.
With me, we have credibility in place. So like having a website is important because, you know, I always, hey, what's your website? Who are you, right? Have you helped others with this, right? So like I find it that they typically want more credibility. What have you found that is important for those types of people?
Your credibility, absolutely, but skill set. Do you know what you're doing like you say you do?
Yeah.
And most of the time, the way to overcome that is to really just slow the conversation down. So you want to literally say, okay, let's pause for a moment because I want to make sure that you're understanding everything that I'm saying here.
Yeah, because they'll take you fast. They definitely will try to take you
with
fast.
All the questions and all of those things.
You got to slow them down.
So you have to slow the call down.
Yeah.
And because most of these people are cerebral. They're very cerebral. And you're going to have to slow it down and speak matter of fact.
Yeah.
Right? And not literally go tit for tat for them.
Yeah.
But when I talk about setting the frame again, here we go. You're painting the picture of where they're going.
Exactly.
Right? So you want to make sure that the statements that you're making, that it is always pointing to where they're going, not where they are. And most closers and most people, they stay in the same position where the customer is. They continue to talk about where they are, right? And that's fine if you're going to try to pull out the pain. Yeah. And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Of course.
But once you hit those 1 or 2 pain points, and you've extracted the emotion from it to where they feel it. Yeah. And I'm talking about cerebral people because most of the time they're not thinking about emotions. They're not thinking about feelings. Yeah. They're thinking about literally facts and figures. That's it. Yeah. Right? True. But they too have pain points. And you have to figure out what they are.
Because those would be like those kinds of those will be those kinds of individuals, like especially like an analytical person, they'll like try to control the frame.
Absolutely.
And they're the ones who want like the most control.
Absolutely.
And you gotta slow, like I have found it that I have had to respectfully get on some people's level, but not disrespectfully. Like there's a way that you can handle a conversation. Like you said, resetting the frame.
Reset
like,
the frame.
Hey, here's what's going to happen. Hey, here's what's here. Hey, let's slow it down.
Right.
Let's go ahead and make sure that I need to ask you a couple of questions about this so I can understand. That way I can help you. And then boom, it calms them down and diffuses them as opposed to them like, getting like aggressive and analytical, because those two never match.
And most of the time, they don't mean to be. Their intention is not to be mean.
That's
or
true.
intention is not to be, aggressive. It's just the nature of a person that's cerebral and analytical.
I need more information.
They just, look, if you can't answer my questions, we can't talk.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so being able to overcome that by slowing the call down.
Controlling that pace.
And controlling the pace, controlling the rhythm of your call, and then answering their questions intently and directly, and then guide them to where you want them to go. You cannot negate their question. You have to answer the question. And then after you've answered the question, what we like to call RTTPOI, which is return to the point of interruption. Go back to where that was, and then lead them to where you were trying to take them, right? And that's very important, and all of this is basically all you're doing is overcoming these objections.
Yeah, it's true.
And you're answering their objection, because most of the time the objection is not something that's unreasonable. Most of the time it's a reasonable request that they're asking you.
True.
But you answer that question, man. And listen, I have to say this, and I'm gonna be very matter of fact about it. If you can't answer their question, don't get on the phone with them.
Yeah.
If I can say it that way.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to answer these
some people
objections,
don't like that pressure.
Like don't get on the phone. Let somebody else close for you, or learn the skill of closing.
Yeah, and that's why we're teaching this to y'all here today.
Absolutely,
because once you learn this, I'm telling you, y'all, like we've made millions doing this. Because most people don't teach this. They don't talk about this. They only talk about like, hey, here's how you say it, but they don't tell you the why behind the what.
That's right.
And some people need to know, like most people really need to know the why behind the what.
Yes, man.
And this is the why behind the what.
Absolutely.
So controlling a place with this this seller is super important because you need to make sure that like, not only do you kind of control the conversation, but like a lot of people, what they do is they let this conversation just go on, and people asking them questions after question after question, and you lose the frame. And not only do you lose the frame, but you lose control of the call. Right. And once you lose control of the call, if you can agree or disagree, it's going to be hard to close that thing at the end.
That's right.
It's gonna, because whoever has control, that's the person who's literally going to be closed.
That's the person who's going to win.
Yep, absolutely.
And you have two types of people. Yeah, right. You have the fast talker. And the hesitant person. The fast talker, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to have to slow the pace down. Hey, Mr. Jones, let's do this. Let me slow this down a little bit. Let's pause for a moment. Because I want to make sure I answer your questions intently and directly. Just because it makes more sense for us to have a solution at the end of this than us to be having this conversation and there's nothing to come of it. Right?
That's true.
So let me ask you this question, XYZ.
Exactly.
Or can you share that question with me one more time so that I can make sure I understand it correctly? Or let me just make sure I understand what you're saying correctly. Any one of these.
You're seeing that in so like it's the way that you say stuff that matters, and a lot of people they don't like really know how to say something to these people, right? So I think that's very important.
Let me hit this last one. You have the fast talker, and then you have the hesitant person. Now the hesitant person, what is their response?
Oh, they feel pressured.
Always feel
pressured. Yeah, they feel like, oh man, like I want to talk to this person. I want to talk to that person. Let me talk to the wife or the husband. And the whole time they've already like talked already. So you know that y'all mutually want to make this decision. So like, talk to us. What's the hesitant person? Like, how do you handle this individual?
So there's two ways to handle a hesitant person. First and foremost, you really want to dig, because if they're hesitant, it's one of two things. Either it's in their nature that they're always hesitant about everything, or you have to break a belief in order to get to the truth and then pull them out of the hesitancy, right? And most of the time, B works only with a confident closer. If a person tries to, bring a person out of their hesitancy and they're not confident, it's going to seem salesy.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And so that's one of the things that I like to share is, when you're talking to a hesitant person, just tell them, listen, I understand that there are a lot of people that you want to talk to, but let me just make sure I understand this. You're looking at XYZ product because this XYZ problem has been going on, from what you told me, about 2 years now.
Yeah.
Right? What happens if we get to the end of this call and then nothing happens? There's no solution to it.
Yeah.
Right? How do you think that would serve you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be, well, it's not going to serve me. Right? And then you come back. Absolutely. And so, and the thing that I hope to accomplish here is to offer XYZ, the solution, always the solution.
Exactly.
And remove you from having to deal with this another 6, 8, 10 months.
Exactly.
Versus actually having solution today.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're really wanting?
Yeah.
Just so I can be clear.
And when you ask that too, a lot of the times what I like to do in my conversation is, like, let's just say it's a seller who wants to sell and they've been losing money from a property. I say, okay, well, how much are you coming out of pocket for this mortgage every month? Oh, $2,000. Okay, cool. And you're paying taxes too? Yeah, I'm paying the taxes. All right, who's paying the lights and all of this? Oh, well, they're paying it, but right now they're not. So that's falling back on me. So let's just say all of this equals up to about $3,000, Mr. Seller. So you've had this property and you've been trying to sell this for how long? Like, oh yeah, I've been trying to sell it for maybe about like 6 months. Okay, well, let me pull up my calculator, y'all. And this is exactly what I do. I say, okay, let me pull out my calculator. And I'll say, okay, let's take 3,000, let's multiply it by 6. Okay, so you're telling me that you've been sitting with this problem for 6 months and you've accumulated about $18,000 out of your pocket. If you, like, Mr. Seller, don't you think that if you keep waiting, like, the longer that you wait, the more that you're gonna pay?
There you go. There you go.
So, like, this goes literally into finding out what their real motive, like what the real motive behind them making this decision is, right? That doesn't matter if you're selling a coaching program. That doesn't matter if you're selling a house. That doesn't matter if you're even buying one, right? Like, it's all about, like, people don't just wake up and make decisions just for the heck of it.
That's right.
Like, people make decisions literally because there's something that guided them there, or there was a buildup specifically in their life to, hey, here's the reason why you want to sell. Like, I always ask my seller, and I understand this in my mind, but I ask my seller, like, hey, what made you wake up one day and just decide to sell one of your most prized possessions?
There you go.
Because oftentimes what I found with houses is that typically most people, it's not, typically most people only buy about like 1 to 2 houses in their whole lifetime.
Yeah.
So oftentimes that's their like most prized possession.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, well, nobody just wakes up and say, oh, well, I want to sell my house. Unless you're just filthy rich. I mean, hey, but like, yeah, most people don't just wake up and say, hey, I just want to sell my most prized possession. Like, there's a reason why you want to sell. So like getting down to that motive, their real motive, is very, very intentional.
Absolutely.
So one thing that I like to do, instead of asking like, hey, why do you want to do this? I say, hey, what has you considering the thought of, right? Or like, what made you decide on this? Why is this the right time, right? And we're literally asking those questions and asking these open-ended questions. Like, that's very, very important, right?
Yeah.
What have you found when it comes down to finding out the real motive? Like, I mean, obviously a lot of people really don't like talking about their problems nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So like, what is like one of the biggest tips that you could give to somebody that's watching this right now to like uncover the pain behind like why people make this decision of like, hey, I need this or I need that? Like, it's a need. It's not even a want, it's a need.
Yeah, most of the time, and this is true in all conversations, man. It doesn't even have to be sales, right? This is why I like the fact that you call it, conversation.
Exactly.
It's not just a sale.
It's not just about sales. Yep.
It's a conversation. And most of the time, what I found is the motive is never exposed at the beginning.
Yeah.
You literally have to dig a little bit. And that's only because they have to be able to have some confidence in that you are the best person to get them to get them to the solution. And so I always say, you got to dig. You're going to have to dig in there with these why questions or the what questions. So what I mean is, as you so eloquently put, what has you considering this today? Or what changed your mind about this property?
Yeah.
Or you've had this issue now for about 6 to 8 months. What has you moving on it right now? What's the culprit?
Yeah.
what is it that has you moving on this right now?
Yeah.
And my tone,
Yeah.
when I ask questions like this, I always slow down and I give more of an empathetic concern tone. So, Mr. Jones, if you don't mind me asking, and I'm just curious here, you've been sitting on this for about
6 months.
6 months or so.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what has you thinking about moving this now?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? What really caused you to make that decision? And if you ask it like that, they're going to say, well, to be honest with you.
Whenever somebody says to be honest, they're about to tell you, what's going on. Like
it's about to be exposed.
And it ain't finna be no short conversation either.
It's not.
I've learned that with a lot of my sellers, they will talk. Like the last seller I talked to, I did a live call with like my mentees in my 7-figure program. And like we had a seller that literally like, it was a guy out in Houston. He had like a house out there, wanted to sell. And he was like, man, let me just tell you this. Or they'll start with, hey, to be honest, right? Whenever you have somebody that say that, just get ready to sit back, get some popcorn, get a drink, because it's about to go down.
Yeah, because now they're shifting from logic to emotion.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yep.
And so now they're giving an emotional response, and you want to listen to that intently, because what they're not doing is exposing to you on what they need in order for you to get them to say yes.
Yeah.
They're telling you, hey, if you want a yes from me, I'm telling you how to do it.
Yeah.
This is what they're saying in that response.
Yep.
So you have to listen. And so what I like to do is whenever they're talking about, man, and it's been hurting my pockets, man, with all the spending the money and having to do all of this, I'll simply say, wait, hurting? And I just get quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, hurting, man. And now they finna go deeper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now they're about to take you deeper into how it's hurting their pocket.
Absolutely.
And this is what you want. Now they have enough confidence to express to you the pain of why they are where they are and how they're looking for a solution to get up out of it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So that right there is very, very important, because all of that information that you're about to get can show you how you can help that person and expose the gap.
There you go.
Between like where they are and where exactly they want to be or need to be, actually. So like one thing that I always do when I'm collecting this information, there's a couple of questions that I ask to pull out, like, so they'll know where their gap is instead of like, I'm just knowing it and they're just like, I'm trying to convince them. No, like, there's a difference between like persuading and convincing. Like persuading is getting somebody to literally do something you want them to do for your benefit, but convincing somebody is literally helping them make a decision that they already want to make. That's helping them get out of their own way.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. So when you expose the gap, literally like something that I like to ask to pull out of the pain, to have them say it themselves instead of me saying it. Because a lot of the times what I have learned in sales is that when you say something, it don't hit.
That's right.
Like it don't resonate in their brain. But when you let them say it,
that's right.
Oh my gosh, you let them say what their pain is, it's everything. Yeah. So like a couple of questions, like I'll just give you one thing that I ask to people to help them expose what they're going through. Hey, you just said something earlier that was like really, really good. It was like an example. I don't remember it. But I like to ask, hey, if this keeps happening, Mr. Seller, and you decided to keep doing this and keep going this route, would it get better or would it get worse?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they're like, yeah, I mean, I think that it would get worse. I mean, I'm going to keep spending the money out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you expose the gap. Like, all right, so here's where you are, right? And here's exactly where you want to be. So if you were to get this done and we were to handle this, this, and this for you, like, wouldn't your wife be happy right now when she come home and she found out that this solution is solved now?
There you go.
Like, how often have y'all been talking about this?
Yeah.
Like, how long has this been going on? Yeah. Like, you're getting them to say it instead of you saying it, and they're pulling it out. So that way, when you get ready to close the gap and you closing the deal, now it's just super, super helpful.
Let's dig in that a little bit, because I think it really bears repeating.
Yeah.
And I think it will be really helpful for our viewers to kind of understand what we mean when we say closing the gap.
Yeah.
You're talking about dealing with where a person is currently versus where they want to be. Right? And what you want to do is have forward motion. This is what I teach. You want to have forward motion, because people move toward relief.
Yeah.
They don't want to move toward another problem, right? And if they see your solution as a problem, they're not going to roll with it, right? So you want to always present your solution as, this is what's going to give you the relief you need.
Yeah.
Whether they're needing relief mentally or physically or resourcefully with money or whatever it is, whatever that relief is, you have to present your solution as that's what's going to get it, right? And so what I often share is, and I want all of our viewers to really, really hone in on this.
Yeah.
People move toward the relief. If you have not done the work prior to getting to this point, then you won't be able to guide them to the relief, because the frame hasn't been properly set, or you haven't dug in there yet to kind of see what the problem really is, or what the real motive is, right? And so once you've done all this work, now you can say to the customer, you know, if nothing ever happens for you, and we get off the phone and nothing moves, how is that going to serve you? Or, you know, this is now you're just closing it.
That makes you think about it too.
Yeah, all you're doing is closing that up.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to serve me. I'll be doing the same thing. I'd wait for another phone call and all of that. That sounds tedious. You know, I'll say something like that. That sounds tedious.
Here's one thing I like about what you did. When you say that, you can chuckle.
That's right.
Because a lot of people take calls so serious. Like, they take them so serious where, like, they have no energy.
That's
like,
right.
For example, you see the energy that we have right now, have the same energy with your seller or whoever you're selling something to. It's okay to laugh during a sale. It's okay to chuckle, because what that does is it lightens the situation. It lightens the emotion. Like, if you're selling like a product and, like, you know, there's a high price on it, it takes away, like, people focusing on price or, like, focusing on the negative connotation of a fact. They focus on, like, the positive side, and it takes all of that away.
Yeah.
So, like, I like that. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, and one way that I find it really helps is, at this particular point, I'll tell a story about a previous customer I've helped. And basically what I'll do is just say, yeah, you know, I was just speaking with Mrs. Jones a couple of hours ago, and consequently, man, she was in the kind of the same situation with you. The only difference is you were in your situation for 8 months. She was in hers for almost a year. And so what she found is that she was able to apply XYZ solution.
Yeah.
And what she was able to do is to get the relief that she needed from XYZ problem.
Exactly.
And now she's set up to be able to get XYZ solution, right? I always like to interject that little story there, right? Just right there. I don't tell stories anywhere else in the close. I always wait till I get right here, because now I want them to see, because people fear being the first person to receive your
Nobody
solution.
wants to be first.
Nobody.
That, like, even when I first started my program, like, nobody wanted to be first. But once you got out the first, all right, cool. Like, and it makes it more relatable, because it's like, all right, like, most times we think that we're the only person dealing with our problem, but there are so many people dealing with the same exact thing. But when you bring that up in the close, it makes them feel like heard. That's right. Related to. That's right. It's just like a relatable story to them. So it's like, all right, man, I feel like this is something that most people deal with, or man, I feel like I can open up to this individual now because they understand me. They've helped people like me before, right? Absolutely. So, like, make your sellers or whoever you're selling to feel heard, because if you make them, and key thing of what I just said, I hope you heard this, heard, but not only heard, feel, not think. Don't target the logical side to somebody's brain. Target the side that deals with emotion. Because when you get people in a state where they make emotional decisions, like a decision based off emotion instead of like logic, like you're more likely to get them. And I'm trying to say like we're praying out to people, but you get it. You get the point.
that makes perfect sense. And I think what really happens is when you think about dealing with the emotional side of people, right?
Yeah.
What you want to be careful in doing is trying to lead them to a place that you haven't prepared them for.
Yeah.
Right? Because and what I mean by that is, think about it in terms of this. Once you've gotten them to the point to where they have opened up to you and they have said to you, hey, I like what you're saying. This is XYZ, this is good, this is, all of that. Now, what you want to do is lead them to the inevitable truth, the inevitable solution, right? Now I'm framing this where if you are to get off this line and you don't take what I'm giving you, now you're the fool.
Exactly. Not like the fool literally, but right, like you're the one who's losing out on this because
I want to make that solution so inevitably irresistible that they can't help. And that's not done by any other way than mirroring their desires.
Exactly. What they're wanting to get.
Exactly
what they're wanting to get, whether that be speed, that be time, that be like finances, whatever the case may be. Like you're mirroring exactly what they want.
What they want. And you know what the problem is? Most closers like to tell their plan.
They talk about them.
That's it.
That's oh, I can do this, I can do that. People don't care about you.
They don't care.
Let me say, hold on. People don't care about you. They care about themselves.
That's right.
I'm sorry to say this, but most people are selfish. If we're talking about ourselves, we could talk all day. Right?
My goodness.
So if we focus on us instead of the person we're trying to help, that doesn't show that you can help them. That shows them that you just care about you.
That's right.
And this is why most people don't do business with people they don't know, like, and trust.
That's absolutely
because
correct.
they don't know you. If you're talking about yourself, they dang sure don't like you, and they can't trust you if you don't have the credibility, and you build credibility by all of these
you might have all the skills. You may have the answer to every single inevitable problem that they have. But if you didn't position the solution that mirrored their desires, then all your skill set is exactly just that. It's just a skill set. It's not the solution for them.
Nope.
And that's another piece to the close. You have to mirror what they want, mirror their desires, make it so that they see, oh, wait a minute, that solution gives me X, Y, and Z. Wait a minute.
Man, I get to move this fast.
I get to do this, this, and this.
Inevitable
inevitable offer.
Absolutely. So when it comes down from like people making a decision, typically, I have a note right here that I wrote. And this is kind of like framing.
You write notes. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, like, hey, man, right? I wanted to write this down because I think this is very important. It's something called decision framing, y'all. And like, it's all about like yeses and nos, and like some things create pressure and some things take away pressure, right? Have you ever done that, like in like one of your closes?
Oh man, let me tell you, and I want to hear more about that. But even just you saying that, I can remember times when I would be on a close, and the pressure release button is found in what the customer response is to what I just said to them regarding my solution. That's what I found. But if you haven't hit that button, or if you haven't said something that would cause them to hit this button, man, that's stressful.
That's crazy. So let me give you an example of like decision framing. Whenever you frame a question, like you're getting ready to close, right? And you're framing a question, like for example, selling houses. I know some of y'all might not be in houses, whatever the case may be, this is for anybody. But yeses and nos create pressure, but if you give somebody a yes, then like that gives them the mindset and the framework to be able to make a decision. So like, for example, right? Is today better, or is Friday an even better day to get this thing closed out?
I love it.
So it's like, you're not giving them a yes, no, like, hey, is today better, or would you like to wait 6 months from now? Or is this not a good decision for you? Hey, is today better, or does Friday sound like an even better day since we're at the end of the week? Boom.
I love that.
Or example, when we close in real estate, here's another thing. We typically, when we give the offer, like, hey, my offer is $100,592.02. Would you like a check or a wire? Not, hey, how did you like that offer? Well, what? Now you're letting them like go in and think, like have to think. Don't have them think. Just yes. Situation. So you're framing that decision by the question that you asked.
That's speaking to the psychology of the sale, because you don't want to give too many choices, because now it again, the mind loves order. So you don't want to give them too many choices. However, you don't want to give them one choice and make them and bottleneck them into one decision. Right?
Exactly.
So having that 2, that's my favorite number. I don't deal with 3s unless it comes from the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? But as it pertains to the sale, I like to give 2. Is today, and I typically don't even ask, honestly, if I can just be matter of fact. I tell, I very rarely ask anything until, when I'm in the trying to find the real motive and understanding their pain points and all of that.
Of course.
I'll ask, open-ended questions like that.
Sure.
But when I get to this point, no, man, I'm telling. I usually say something like, listen, looks like Thursday is a good day, but if Friday is a better day, we can go with that too. Which one best suits you?
No, wait, is Thursday or Friday? Like
that's I always do that. I always tell them, looks like, or if somebody's making an appointment, you try to set an appointment and they, and all that, you want to lock that appointment in. Oh, wow. Okay, looks like my calendar is allowing me to set this up for Wednesday at 6 o'clock. But it's also saying Friday at 2. Which one? And I usually give a late evening or early afternoon, like 12 to 2 or late evening 6 to 8. You know what I'm saying? It's somewhere I usually do that. I usually don't mess with people mornings,
of course,
unless they want to have it.
You said something really powerful that brought me back to like, it was something like in a sales book I read. I think it was like Alex Ramosi or something. He basically said, never get off a phone without setting an appointment for like the next one.
Always.
Because like life gets busy.
People
go through life, people go through stuff, and like they forget about you. Especially if you're trying to sell them something, they forget about you. Unless you've done all of these things that we've shared and taught here. But like never getting off the phone without setting the next appointment is very, very important, because if you just let people go and think about it, they'll think their self out of it, or they'll get another call and have something else to think about. Or I've found it that most people typically prepare this seller or their person that they're trying to sell for the next salesperson, and they warm them all the way up. And then that next person comes in and just gives even a lower offer or something that's worse than what you've offered. They'll take it because you warmed them up and let them off the phone without setting the appointment with the follow-up. So I think that's very, very important. And then like the last thing here is closing with ownership.
Oh, man. Please emphasize this.
All right, cool. Closing with ownership.
Oh, man.
All right, let's talk about it. So this close should sound like freedom and not pressure.
Yes, man.
Like what we said earlier, giving them the end piece, like where they're wanting to go, but without the pressure.
That's right.
Right? So like, example, when you're going into a conversation and you're about to close, right?
Yes.
Hey, at the end of the day, I want to make sure that we are choosing what's best for you. So when it comes to this decision, we got this, and this, right? And like you're taking the pressure away from them, so they no longer have to say, man, I got to think about it. Let me run this by my attorney. Let me do this. Let me do that, right? And I think that's very, very important, because a lot of people close with the pressure of like, giving them all of these things, like just make it simple with the clothes.
Man, listen, whenever you think about a close at the end of, let me put it like this. When you're baking a cake, right? The cake looks good when it comes out of the oven, right? But it looks better when you put the icing on it.
Oh yeah,
right?
Gotta put the icing.
But then what happens when you come back behind it and add a fruit like a cherry or something like that, right?
Yeah.
The actual close is just like a cherry.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the last piece that gives the all in all. This feels like freedom.
Yeah.
This feels like peace. I know this about to taste good. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I like to tell people, think about it in terms of that. Whenever you say your very last thing as it relates to your solution and what you're about to give, it should absolutely feel like this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
This is freedom for me. This is peace. This is going to bring me the peace that I need in order to move forward in what I'm wanting. So my answer to you is yes.
Yeah.
Right? That's what ultimately what happens.
Exactly.
You get the yes. If you've done all these frameworks, I mean, all these things within this framework, right? Then ultimately at the end, you set the frame. You've done all these things. Now, that answer of yes is about 80 to 90%
better
possible.
Like, oh my gosh, all of these things, man, like have guided all of the hundreds of deals that I've done in real estate, man. And like, that's very important, is to make sure that you implement all of these things, y'all. I think that's very, very important. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation, because this is going to be the thing that changes the game for you and make you a lot of money. Listen, if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and comment what you feel like the best part for you was, because I think this was really, really good. Man, as always, this is a great conversation, man.
Man, listen.
Great conversation.
I hope our viewers get a chance to really dig into it, man.
Seriously.
And really take some stuff out of front.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll see y'all on the next conversation, and I appreciate you for joining. Let's go.